Okay, everyone, I'm getting so excited because Larry Whiteside, he is a cybersecurity expert and he's about to join me. I'm Ashley Bernardi, the CEO of Nardi Media. I'm so excited to be here today because we're having a very important discussion. We are going to be talking all about cybersecurity and you. What does it mean for you as an expert, as a thought leader who's getting yourself out to the media? Hey, Larry. All right, he's going to be joining us any moment. And Larry's going to tell us about all the things that you need to know to protect yourself. We'll do his quick introduction and dive into things that you need to know. All right, Larry, hopefully that you can see and hear me. Yay, we did it. It's so good to see you. How
Hey,
are
good to see
you?
you. I'm great. How are you? Hold on, let me get my mic.
All right. Awesome. I'm so excited. So while you're doing that, I'm going to introduce you to everyone, Larry. So Larry Whiteside Jr. is a veteran CISO, former U.S. Air Force officer. He's a thought leader in the cybersecurity field. So today we're going to be talking all about cybersecurity and you. He has 25 years experience in building and running cybersecurity programs, holding C-level security executive roles in multiple industries, including DoD, federal government, financial services, healthcare, and critical infrastructure. So today we're going to be talking all about cybersecurity expert and a thought leader need to know to protect yourself, especially as many of our experts are sharing their voices on social media, in the media. What do you need to know? So, Larry, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. Happy to have this conversation.
Yeah, okay. Let's dive in, Larry, because just so everyone knows, Larry did a lunch and learn with Nardi Media clients not too long ago to alert everyone on what scammers are doing, what they're looking for, and they can do to protect themselves. And I think we're definitely seeing an uptick in scams in election years. So, Larry, why don't you give us a quick overview and landscape of the threats that are out there right now and what we need to be looking for, and then we'll talk about solutions around it.
Yes. So right now we're in a unique time, right? Anytime we go into election season, there's a whole lot of information that is being shared that's both false information, but also they're trying to attack people to get them to share information and do things that they wouldn't normally do, right? So if you support one party or another, one person or another, you're going to start to see a lot more information being sent to you, asking you to donate, asking you to share certain information, asking you to utilize your credit cards, connect your bank accounts, and do things to give towards campaigns. And a lot of it is not real. A lot of it is really just fake, trying to get you to give based on urgency, based on need, and based on the climate that we're in right now. That's one of the big things that's happening. The second one is misinformation. I urge everyone during these types of times to go to 3, 4, or 5 sources for information that you get prior to believing what's real and what's not, right? And check and see if the source of where the information you're getting from is actually real. There are so many times that fake media sources and fake profiles are being created to push narratives in a certain direction or another. And so it's these times are times to be even more diligent as it relates to your information, the things you read, what you believe, and what you share.
Thank you, Larry. And something else that we have seen and you're aware of and that all our clients are on the lookout for and we've put special protocols in place here at Nardi Media, but there are bad actors and scammers who are posing as journalists, members of the media, and podcasters, inviting them to be on their shows only to hack into their accounts and take over. So what are you seeing and like, what do you know about this, and how can experts and thought leaders that Nardi Media works with and that are in Nardi Media's network protect themselves?
Yeah, so if you are one who is, I'll say, an influencer or wants to influence and is looking to get coverage for something you're doing, right now you are especially susceptible to bad actors and threat actors, right? Because what they're doing is they're going out and doing a lot of impersonation of
Mm-hmm.
the media entities, media outlets, and the like in an effort to try and get access to your public profile, right? When you think about it, if you've built a brand, right, and you spent years, right, building up this brand to look a certain way, to feel a certain way, to have a certain message and represent you in a certain way, and you've got a certain number of followers, that's valuable to people who want to spread information and or potentially attack a large audience of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you are a target in them trying to come to you, getting you to share things under the guise that they are there to help you and get you more of what you already have, right?
Right.
So if you're going to connect with someone, first things first, again, do your due diligence. Just like I talked about with the information sources that you have, when someone approaches you about doing a podcast, when someone approaches you about some media, right, and they want you to connect with them electronically and share certain things, do your due diligence, right? Say, okay, let me reach back around. Okay, let me go to the website and see what is the real contact information for their PR. What is the real contact information for their admin? What's the real contact information for this organization or individual that I can reach back out to directly to further the conversation and not just trust what was sent to you directly. Because as we've seen, Ashley, right, people will send something to you, and if you respond specifically to that, that's where they're playing on your sense of urgency and your
Right.
desire, right, in the moment to connect and I'll give you an example. So I showed my wife Shannon the other day. I got an invoice to one of my Gmail accounts, right, saying, hey, thank you for your payment to this. Here's the invoice. If you have questions about it, please call this number. Now, it was an invoice from a company saying that they had charged me, some thousands of dollars for some service or tool or whatever. Right now, in a normal situation, most people look at that like, oh, I didn't pay this. Like, what is this? I didn't expect to pay this. And you would call the number on the form, right? And that's where they have got you. Now they're starting to do, hey, oh, you didn't? Are you sure? Well, what's the credit card number, right, that you think you paid this with? And they start going down the path of getting this information while you're in a state of panic.
Mm-hmm.
But what I told Shannon was, I said, in this type of instance, just look at the facts in front of you. Is the domain that they sent the email from tied to that company? No,
Mm-hmm.
right? But even if it was, instead of going to the number that was on the sheet that they gave, or going to the email address that it came from, I would go to the web, look up that corporate entity, look up what is registered and listed as their actual help desk or whatever their support line is, and I would call that. And I would call that number and say, hey, I got an email from this person, right, saying that I had this charge for this amount, right? This was the email address they came from. This was the number they told me to call back at, right? But
Yeah.
this was the number. I found your number on the web, and I chose to call that. And 100% of the time, I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee they're going to say, oh, nope, that didn't come from us. Nope, that number's not affiliated with us. Thank you for letting us know, right? But that's the safe way to go about it. And in the small percentage that maybe it is legitimate, you at least then alleviate the chance that it's not.
Yeah, and I think one thing that comes to me, Larry, is that everyone is at risk here, right? Like it's not just like you think of like our parents, right? I mean, of course, I'm sure the grandparents' parents are higher risk, but there is no discrimination on scammers. They're going after like who are they? They're going after everyone. Is that right?
Yeah, listen, here's reality. Scammers and threat actors are about making money.
Mm-hmm.
Period, point blank. They don't care. There's no person too big or too small. Because think about it like this. So I've been doing this a long time. And in the early days, right, before phones and social media and things of that nature, you had to go after certain resources because it took a lot of time and effort. So they were going after big corporations.
Yeah.
Now, the level of effort to get to individuals is not as difficult as it used to be. And so now, if they can send that one email to 100,000 people and just 10% of them open it and call the number, they're winning,
Yeah.
right? So all of us are at risk of these things.
So is it because like we are so more socially connected now? All of our information is very, very public, from like our home addresses to how many kids we have. Like, is it because of social media and then just the oversharing that happens everywhere? Is that what's making it so easy for them?
Yeah, so we are in what's called the information age, or the data age. The amount of data that exists for each of us is massive, especially in the United States. So other
Mm,
countries, Australia, the European Union, outside of the US, a lot has happened in the privacy movement to force companies to begin getting rid of and being very transparent about what data they're capturing, and giving individual users the authority to reach out to those companies and say, delete any data you have of me. In
wow.
the US, we don't quite have those privacy laws. So there are a lot of organizations called data brokers in the US. And these data brokers use a number of sources to gather data. Because speaking for the state of Florida, right? If you're a voter, if you've registered to vote, all of your information is public. You can go out,
Mm,
your full name, your full address, all that stuff is easily, right, seen by any human that has access to the internet. You can go get that, right? So when you think about that, and then add the number of breaches that have happened over time, right? So the Social Security Administration, it was just a breach. They got 2 point something, million, and it may have been more than that. It may have been 2 billion, but a lot of Social Security numbers, right? Now you've got Social Security numbers and a lot of other information that's valid that we have
mm-hmm.
provided to different organizations. And to be clear, all of this data, it doesn't just, a company gets breached and one organization takes that data. No, they begin to actually take this data and post it. And they put it in databases that basically live forever. And what threat actors do is they begin selling that information and combining it with other information to create dossiers and portfolios, so that if you use one password so let's use Target, for
Yeah.
example. Target got breached a long time ago. But if you got breached by Target and you happen to use the password at Target for your bank, well, once they get your email address that you use for that bank, they now have access to your bank, because all of this information begins starting being put together to present a large amount of information about you as an individual. And it's a really, really scary time, and it's not getting any better.
So what can we do? What are some simple steps that we can do today, right now, to protect ourselves?
Yeah, so right now the number one thing I tell everybody is get a password management tool.
Mm-hmm.
There are tons of password management tools available out there. If you do a Google search, right, it'll give you the top 5, top 10 pretty easily. They're really inexpensive, and they're even free. If you just want to use it as an individual, money's tight, you can actually get them for free. But that is one thing. The other thing is, and the first thing I would do before a password management tool, is for every account that you have access to online, via your phone, anything, turn on multi-factor. Turn on where it
Mm-hmm.
texts you, or you are using some type of third-party component to enable a multi-factor, so it's not just your username and password. Because then if you have more than a username and password, you become a little bit more complex than the next person, because third actors don't want to work hard. Let's
Yeah.
be clear. They're going to go for the lowest hanging fruit. And it's the old adage of, I don't need to be faster than the bear, I just need to be faster than my friend. Right? So in that instance, it's the same mindset of doing a little thing like turning on multi-factor, of which most companies now have that enabled for you as a consumer. Turn that on, utilize your cell phone to be able to get text, and understand that that's something you can do.
Wow. Okay. So Ashley in the chat here said, do I change my Target password? So should she change her Target password since they were breached?
So they were breached, what, 10 years ago now? So
Okay.
if you haven't changed it in 10 years, I definitely recommend changing it. But that goes to another piece, is you should try and change your passwords on some frequency. Now, not something that this is not an every month, this is not an every quarter. It may be every couple of years. right? But you should not create a password for anything that you do and let that be the password in perpetuity, right? That
Right.
just because in the event of a breach, in the event of something happening, one of the things you utilize is going to get breached. And this is why utilizing a password management tool, it makes it extremely easy to go in and change passwords because it will assist you in not just creating the password, but in changing and facilitating the changing of the password. So I try and go through and do every couple of years, go through and have changed, a lot of my, what I'll call my critical passwords. So banking, those government things that I may have access to, things like that. I try and make sure every couple of years that I'm changing.
Amazing. Okay, so Larry, you have been so generous with your time, and these are such important things that we need to know. Tell us a little bit about where folks that are watching now and where folks that are going to be watching later can find more information about you and the great work that you're doing.
Yep, sure. Thank you for that. If you want to reach out to me, find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Larry Whiteside Jr. there. Additionally, you can go to my website and request either speaking or just contact me if you want to talk for business at core5security.com.
Larry, thank you so much. And I do want to say for everyone listening, Larry has helped us develop these protocols at Nardi Media to protect our clients and to also vet opportunities that come in and ensure that they are legit. And we have a several step process in place, which includes reaching out to the host on their Instagram page, going to their website, verifying contacts. So security is so important for us here at Nardi Media. And I just wanted to say to you, Larry, we are so grateful for your support for us and would love to have you come back again and do another lunch and learn with our clients. But anyways, we're just grateful. Thank you. Such great advice today, Larry, and appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.